Hello students, welcome to the online class of nuclei. Today we are going to discuss about a chapter in chemistry. First let me ask you one question. Do you like chemistry? Some of you might have, right? The reason is in chemistry there are lot of equations, there are so many molecular formulas and all. So it is very difficult for some students to learn chemistry. But here you will learn chemistry in a very simple and in a very tricky way. So I must say you are in the right place. Okay. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about acid, bases and salt. Have you heard of acids and bases? Yes, you must have, right? Whenever I say acids and bases, there must be some visions in your mind. That means the picture of some labs or experiments or some, colored compounds and all. Let me tell you one thing. Acids and bases are not just limited in a chemistry lab or textbooks or classrooms. They have so many importance in our life. Yes, you heard correct. You are using acids and bases in your day-to-day life from morning to evening. For example, let us consider in the morning itself, you will brush your teeth, right? Using what? A paste. That paste consists of what? A base. That itself shows that acids and bases are having what? An inevitable role in your life. And then you will have your breakfast with some tomato chutney. The tomato consists of what? Some oxalic acid. And then you will take your shower using what? A soap. That soap consists of what? A base. This shows that acids and bases are having loads of importance in your life. So it's very important to learn about the basics of acids and bases. That's what you are going to study now. Okay, so shall we start the class? Okay, so first you should know what is meant by acids, right? So here we will consider one example. Okay, so I'm taking HCl as the example. What is this HCl? Have you heard of HCl? Yes, it is hydrochloric acid. Is it acid? How do you know that it is an acid? The name itself, it is there, right? Hydrochloric acid. So how do you know that it is an acid? Yes, there is a reason. When we mix this HCl into water, can you see here? So here you can see one acid, right? That acid, let us consider it as what? HCl. And I'm dissolving this acid into what? Water. And they are producing what? Load of H plus ions. What is this H plus ions? Yes, in our previous chapter, that is language of chemistry, you must have learned about ions, right? The positively charged ion is known as cation and negatively charged ion is known as what? Anion. So here, this acid, when dissolved in water, they are producing what? Loads of H plus ions. That is what? Called what? Acids. Acid will produce what? H plus ions when dissolved in water. For example, let us consider what? HCl. So here HCl, when I dissolve into water, what it will produce? It will produce H plus Cl minus. That is H plus cation and chloride anion. Okay. So let us consider one more example. That is H2SO4. Have you heard of H2SO4? Yes, it is sulfuric acid, the king of chemicals, right? When you dissolve this H2SO4 into water, it will also produce what? HSO4 minus. Can you see here? H2SO4 will dissociate into form what? H plus and HSO4 minus. One more example let us consider, that is HNO3. What is this HNO3? Yes, it is nitric acid. When nitric acid is dissolved in water, it also produces what? H plus NO3 minus. So what is common here? Yes, as you can see, all the three acids are producing what? H plus ions and somewhat anions. So generally, when you give a definition for acids, what we will say? Yes, acids are the substances that produces what? H plus ions when dissolved in water. That also you have to mention. Okay, acids will produce H plus ions only in the presence of what? Water. What is the reason? That also you will study in the next topic. Okay, so acids will produce H plus ions when dissolved in water. Okay. That is the one definition for what acids that we will always use for the substance. Okay, so here I am writing the first one, that is acids produce H plus ions when dissolved in water. When dissolved in what? Water. That also you have to remember. Now next thing. Okay. Have you ever tasted a lemon? It is very sour in taste, right? Not the lemon juice, it is a lemon. When you taste the lemon, you can feel that sour taste. What is the reason? Yes, lemon consists of a natural acid, that is citric acid. That's an organic acid, okay? So it consists of what? Citric acid. That citric acid is giving what? That sour taste to the lemon. So we can say that acids are sour in taste, okay? Even if you taste the curd also, it has what? A sour taste. The reason is it consists of what? Lactic acid. So acids will produce what? H plus ions when dissolved in water, and it has what? Sour in taste. Now we will move on to the next one, that is acids will turn blue litmus into red. What is this litmus? That also we will study. It is an indicator. Okay, so if I am giving you a compound, you should know, right, whether it is an acid or what? Base. That we can understand by using what? These type of indicators that we will study in the upcoming classes. So here, what we are seeing, it will turn what? Blue litmus into red color. Understood? It will turn what? Blue litmus into red color. So that is acids. Okay, once again we will go through the points. What is meant by acids? Acids will produce H plus ions when dissolved in water. It's very important that you should mention about the water. And next point is, it is what? Sour in taste. And it will turn blue litmus into what? Red color. That means that acids will give red color. Now we will discuss some examples. What are the examples? HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, and next one is HNO3, that is nitric acid. Okay, so now you must have an idea about acids, right? Then we will go to the next one, that is bases. Now what is meant by a base? Here also we will consider one example, that is NaOH. What is NaOH? Sodium hydroxide. OH minus ions are known as what? Hydroxide ions. Okay. So this NaOH solution, when you dissolve into water, here you can see an yellow part, right? That yellow part is what? A base. And that base dissolves in what? Water. It will produce what? OH minus ions. Okay. It will produce what? OH minus ions. That means that this NaOH, when I just dissolve into this water, it will dissociate to form Na plus what? OH minus. It will produce Na plus OH minus. Once again, we will consider another example, that is KOH. What is KOH? Yes, potassium hydroxide. This potassium hydroxide, when we dissolve into water, it produces what? K plus OH minus. So what is common in both these equations? Yes, it will dissociate in what, so it dissolves in water to produce OH minus. So we can say that bases are the substances that produce hydroxide ions when dissolved in water. Understood? What is the definition of base? Yes, it will produce hydroxide. What is hydroxide? OH minus ions. So it produces OH minus ions. OH minus ions when dissolved in water. So that is a base. Okay. Now second one. For acid, you have seen that acids are what? Sour in taste. Then what about base? Yes, base is bitter in taste. What is that? It is bitter in taste. Okay, now the fourth one is, I don't know what is happening. Now here, we'll discuss about the litmus paper color. So in the case of acid, it will turn blue litmus into what? Red. But in case of base, it will turn what? It will turn red litmus into blue. Okay, it will turn red litmus into blue. You will study about this in the next topic, that is indicators. Okay, so these are the bases. Now we will see some examples. Now, examples are what? NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. Next one is KOH, that is potassium hydroxide. Then calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH twice. All these are the examples of what? Bases. Once again, we will just go through the points. Bases means that they produce OH minus ions when dissolved in water. And it is having what? A bitter taste. And it will turn red litmus into blue. And they are having what? Some examples, that is NaOH, KOH, COH twice. All these are what? Some examples of bases. So now you must have an idea about acids and bases, right? But that is not enough. There are certain classifications for what? Acids and bases based on the sources of the acids or the molecular composition. That and all we will study in the next part.